Hello, and welcome back to another video. If you're looking for recommendations on one manhwa to read, then here are some that I've read recently that might be of interest. Manhwa titles are timestamped in the video for your convenience. Our first manhwa for today is The Twin Sister Goes on Strike, a regression manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 80 on. Its main character is Rosette Sigrun, the daughter of Duke Sigrun and sister to Leia, her other twin. As is established very early on, twins are a bad omen in the empire that Rosette is a part of. Worse off yet, Leia had the mark of a saint while Rosette had the divine power necessary to perform miracles. And so started Rosette's misfortune. Being subservient due to her wanting to be loved by her family, she was ultimately sacrificed to give Leia her divine power. Through some miraculous event though, she regresses back to the past, and this time, Rosette won't let her naivety get in the way. It's time to take revenge on those who wronged her in her previous life. This won't be the only thing, as romance is clearly going to bloom as well. The story is 8 out of 10. A plot about revenge through regression isn't something that is necessarily new, but the overall pacing and story elements themselves make you want more and binge through the whole thing, at least of course until you catch up. The characters are also 8 out of 10. Rosette shedding her naivety with her family is a growth point that starts and continues as she leads the second life. At the same time though, her main romantic interest has his own share of questions as to why are the two lives so different. The art is 8 out of 10 as well. From the usual romantic fantasy styles and depictions to the use of divine power and magic, there are a variety of scenes on display. These aspects, when used to contrast Rosette's attitude and demeanor from those of Leia and her father, the moral difference is very plain to see. You can't really help but root for her, honestly. So if you're a fan of revenge stories within a romantic fantasy setting that echoes similar vibes to Bad Maids from my previous videos, then make sure to take a look at The Twin Sister Goes on Strike. This next manhwa to take a peek at is Even Though He's a Rookie, He's an Actor with 10+ million views, a modern manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 51 on. The protagonist is Ha Mu-young, an individual who has led a hard life so far under his abusive stepfather. During this tumultuous time though, he noticed that he could perceive mists or auras that seems to almost entail the karmic nature or justice for people, which is contrasted by the pollen or flower petals which foresees good things or good tidings. Through the harsh years and finding a passion for acting, he overall gives it a try and ends up noticing that he's actually quite talented at it. This talent, plus his natural kind demeanor and willingness to assist people, works out well for him, and success comes to find him. The story is 7 out of 10. A background steeped in a negative premise, Mu-young's perseverance to still come out the other side as an upstanding and kind individual is motivating to see. Finding his calling as an actor allows him to experience life like never before. The characters are 8 out of 10. Socially numb is the best way I can describe Mu-young's approach to social situations. This, mixed with his kind nature, makes him a lot of friends and cohorts that will overall benefit his growth as an actor, even though he clearly has talent already. The art is 7 out of 10. With similar art styles to the other modern acting manhwas that I've talked about before, the one thing that sets this one apart art-wise is its light utilization of fantasy elements that denotes whether fortune or misfortune will affect the person, script, work, or situation that comes Mu-young's way. This makes sure that he doesn't stray off the path. So if you're a fan of modern acting manhwas and want something similar to a Superstar from Birth from my previous videos, but with less fantasy elements to it overall, limiting it to like a Sixth Sense for instance, then Even Though He's a Rookie, He's an Actor with 10+ million views would be worth a read. Hero of All Trades is the name of our next manhwa to take a look at. It's a time travel manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 38 on. Na Gang-in is the name of its main character. Waking up in the middle of modern-day Korea, Gang-in can't remember who he is, where he is, or what year is it, at least initially. A combat AI though, who Gang-in names as Ji-in, seems to be integrated within his body and with his assistance is able to determine that he's in the year 2024, but from the future. For what particular reason, both Gang-in and Ji-in are unaware. As they explore this place, they notice that Nagangin's identity exists in this year even though he's from the future. The premise already has quite the mystery to it. The story is 8 out of 10. With this mystery of Gangin's identity existing in the year 2024 but he comes from the future already gives a lot of room to explore. Of course, since it's the crux of the manhwa so far, the development of said plot will take a while. Establishing the foundation required to investigate it is first and foremost. The characters are 6 out of 10. Due to its low character count and the interesting premise, the characters themselves so far take a back seat to the capability of Gangin with the support of Jiin. To be quite honest, I hope they develop both Gangin and the others around him more as the manhwa continues. The art is 7 out of 10. A combat AI that is as capable as Jiin will of course make Gangin's potential in multiple different fields crazy. From physical acts like jumping between buildings to more relaxing activities such as cooking, there are a lot of things to witness even with the shorter current length. So if you're a fan of time travel stories and the mysteries that come with a main character with amnesia who seemingly belongs in this 2024 modern world, then Hero of All Trades might just fit your palette. Our next manhwa to take a look at is Becoming a Special Unit Mage in Another World, a reincarnation manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 27 on. The focus of this story is on Hae So-nal, a mage in a modern fantasy world. The peculiar thing though about So-nal is that he reincarnated into this modern world from a more traditional fantasy one. With an understanding of magic that was clearly different from those in this world, So-nal now finds himself working under the Special Department for Cross-Species Civil Complaints and Resolutions, or otherwise a public servant. So-nal is extremely talented but also has quite the feisty temper. What sort of antics will show up when working for this department in a modern world filled with all types of creatures, powers, and lifestyles? The potential is 9 out of 10. There has only been one other manhwa that I've covered on this channel that really explores what a modern life for numerous fantasy species would be. For that alone, this gets the high score of 9 out of 10 for what it could potentially explore. Clearly being part of the Civil Complaints Department will have So-nal be assisting in precarious situations with his particular talent set. The art is 7 out of 10. While the premise and potential is great, some of you may find parts of the art style to be either rough or honestly quite pretty. It has quite the unique take on what I would identify as the more standard character depictions, but it's able to deliver nonetheless. So if you're a fan of following newer stories and in particular curious about how fantasy species would be like in a modern setting, similar to Convenience Store Worker from Another World from my previous videos, then take a look at Becoming a Special Unit Mage in Another World when you get the chance. Another week, another highlight. For those unaware, this is a section of the video I update impressions for manhwa that I've previously covered. Today's highlight is the Top Dungeon Farmer, which I've now read up to chapter 100 on. Info card and description will have links to my original opinion. Park Se-jun, our resident tower farmer, has been up to a lot of things since the last time I've covered this manhwa. From working with and alongside the residents of the 99th floor, being in a friendly relationship with the tower administrator, and taking care of a multitude of crops and discovering new ones, Se-jun's current lifestyle is both gratifying and very busy. As he continues to inhabit the higher floor, challenges have faced both his own floor and even the residents of the tower. Both the corrupted Ents and the locust infestations are just some of the situations that Se-jun has to confront to preserve the tower's balance. As it continues, I avidly await more details about the backgrounds of the towers and Se-jun's particular purpose. My previous scores for this manhwa was 9 out of 10 for characters and art and 7 out of 10 for story. The characters stay the same at 9 out of 10 as the habitants continue to be their cute selves, while we also get more of a look at the political and logistical nature that surrounds the denizens of this tower. The fact that a hamster is one of, if not the best mage in the tower, is just a cherry on top. The art goes up 1 point from 9 out of 10 to 10 out of 10. It continues to deliver the great representation of the environments and food and crops that Se-jun grows and eats, but it has also been able to enhance itself with some of the almost unexpected action and tense moments that I honestly wouldn't have expected from this manhwa based off its initial impressions. The story, in a similar vein, goes up 1 point from 7 out of 10 to 8 out of 10 as in between the periods of the very situations Sejun finds himself in, we as the readers get to take a peek at some of the details pertaining to the dragons, the tower's purpose, and maybe potentially even Sejun's purpose in coming to be a farmer. The Top Dungeon Farmer has continued to be quite the treat whenever I've had the chance to read it. I would heavily encourage you to give it a shot if you're a fan of modern fantasy manhwas, but wanted an uncommon class to be at the center of it. Would you agree, or would you not? Comment down below your thoughts on the Top Dungeon Farmer. And that wraps up this week's episode. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the content, and write down in the comment section down below what manhwa you've been reading, and I might just take a look. Till next time though, have a good read.